start. So yeah, good to hear that everything's okay. What do you mean you lost that? Jesus, sorry. That's really bad news. Well.
You lost
Yeah,
the shot.
that's very good. Cool. You don't seem to be happy, do you? What?
Lost the shot.
Well, I'm going to go on the side because Chris will probably be wanting to start. So, yeah, good to hear everything's okay, and we'll catch you later.
Yeah, hang on a minute, Alan. I will get your details whilst you're there, and I'm struggling with the radar noise, Trevor, so I will need a bit of a summary of all of that, and then we'll collect his positions. Villamy, back to you.
Yes, you want me to get Alan to give us his position and weather, do you?
Yeah, and if you could summarise what he just said. I've got this tractor radar noise, over.
Okay, yep, go ahead and give us your position, Alan. 3404.460 west. Yeah, 3404 south and 1 west to the 50 west. Roger. About 8.5 knots. Northwest.
Just the way it's tomorrow.
Okay, we'll follow it again. 999. Wow, you got that low, must be coming right on you. Okay, I'll just repeat it all to Patricia. You got it, I've got it right. 3404 south, 16350 west. Course is 070 degrees through. Both speed 6.5 knots. We've got a wind of 20 to 25 out of the northwest. And the bar is a 099. 50% cloud cover. And yeah, that's about right, Ron. 50% cloud cover and confused seas. You got that, Patricia?
Yeah, is it 15 or 50 cloud cover?
15.
Got that wrong. Thank you very much. So, Alan, if you're copying southerly tomorrow, it's going to be a bit of a change. Same strength though, southerly 25 to 30, 25 to 30 tomorrow. So you're certainly going to have plenty of wind.
The low will have moved to his east.
The low will have moved to your east, says the boss here. And I'm just going to get a bit of a summary of what you said earlier on, because I was struggling to get that, but it does sound as if you have fixed the forestay, which is good. What was the rest of it, please, Trevor? Over.
He's got the further back to together, but too windy to try and pick the tail up. And he lost got news to say that he has lost a good long time friend. He's getting all the bad things happening at once.
Oh, goodness. Yep. Oh, well, he's in communication, but sometimes you wish you weren't. All right, I've got all of that, Alan. So hopefully things will. I presume everything is tied down well with these winds. So David will probably do a little bit more later. But yes, and there's another boat actually waiting to go east as well. So they're all scattered, the boats going to the east. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Trevor. You are booming in here. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286. It is a possibility that we will have to move frequencies. The radar noise is coming to and fro. So I may be moving down to 8297, which will be programmed in your radios because it's an alternate for the emergency frequency. but 8779er, and this one seems to be affected by the radar noise. David wants something. Hang on.
Right. This is for Alan on Quintessa before we get too far going, and he's running off to do other jobs. The winds are going to ease considerably late Saturday. So if he is in the process of trying to fix something, it's going to be pretty bloody rough today and early tomorrow. But it eases very quickly later Saturday. So may want to think about holding off anything delicate until then. That low will have moved off. That's it. Here's the boss.
And while I know I've got Willoughby near the radio, I will try and find eye candy. We've got quite a few good on passage reports this morning, but let's try and find eye candy, Gulf Harbour. Yeah, actually, I think I probably will be able to do it, Andrew, but we'll keep Trevor engaged while you talk. Go ahead. Okay, I've got most of that except for the longitude. Longitude only, please. Okay, I have the eye candy at 1356 south, 160, I think it was 34 east, steering 280 magnetic 6.3, and they have an east northeast 14, 1.5 meter southeast seas, and 100% cloud cover. Anything to correct, and is all well? I got the 4 here. 4-6. Thank you very much, and I presume all is well. You're moving along quite well. So we'll wait and see what David's got to say. But looking at the satellite picture, you're doing quite well. I don't know where your 100% cloud cover is coming from, but it's yeah, you're just not quite in our picture here going to Saguaro. All right, got that one. All right, we'll go on to who else was on there. I think we've pretty much got everybody now. There's been some interesting reports coming in. Oh, we've got Avalon still on the go. Avalon, are you there, Tom?
This is Avalon.
Yep, good signal as usual. Go ahead.
This is the morning. We are at the moment at 2003 south 17621. Over.
Yeah, carry on. Carry on.
First, this is just, if I can't hear you now, do you copy of it?
Very good copy. Yes, the radar is a pain. Go ahead. I'm copying you well. Oh, hang on a minute. Diego is telling me that there is strong radar in Savu. So I think after I copy you, we're going to have to move. Carry on. Good copy. Over.
Look at that. Course over ground is 029. Speed over ground 2.5 knots. 95% cloud cover, sun deflating is up. 12 about 1 meter. Parametric pressure 10-11. Over.
10-11, and the wind.
Right, south, east to 8. Over.
Thank you. And you're getting this radar noise as well, I presume. Over.
Look at that.
Okay, folks, I am going to have to change to 8297. This is a bit of an effort for me because I have to change the hang on a minute. Yeah, I think we will go down. It's just coming and going. So just give me a minute to change the antenna. We will move to 8297. Okay, what the hell am I doing? 863. Oops. Oh God, I've really screwed things up.
Take your time.
Okay, this is Gulf Harbour Radio testing on 8297. Villamy, how copy? Thanks, Trevor. All right, folks, it's just helps get us away from that dreadful radar noise. All right, and this is an alternate frequency if the higher up in the band is not working. Let me just give you a bit of news while everybody is finding us here. There has been an incredible amount of rain in this part of the world. Whangarei in 3 days managed to get more rain than they usually get for the entire month of July. In the whole Northland area, they've had 214 millimetres in a day and a half, and there's considerable flooding. And in fact, State Highway 1 is closed north of Whangarei. It's just been an absolute downpour. But today is absolutely beautiful here at Gulf Harbour, apart from the temperature, 9 degrees Celsius, 3 knots from the south, 1017.6 and steady. And it's just a lovely clear morning, bit of cloud on the horizon, but otherwise nothing much at all. And New Zealand's Prime Minister, 37-year-old Jacinda Ardern, has had a baby girl. A very nice picture actually in the paper this morning. It's evidently the first time a world leader, as you would expect, has given birth for about 30 years. The last one was Benazir Bhutto in Pakistan. Anyway, she's a very healthy baby girl, 3.3 kilograms, and for those of you in ancient units, 7.3 pounds. And I do want to correct an article I gave you yesterday. Canada has legalized marijuana for general use, not just medicinal use. It starts on October 17. So when you get back from your trips away and head home, you'll be able to buy some marijuana to make you forget about any nastiness on passage. Bit of news for New Zealanders who have a car. One of our major insurance companies has decided that windscreens are no longer going to be covered. That's Vero, if you have Vero car insurance. It was, but now you will lose your no-claim bonus. It's a pain in the neck, but evidently some flash new cars have very expensive windscreens, up to about $15,000. Hate to think what the entire car is worth, but of course it is going to be a problem because windscreens are part of the structural integrity of the car, and if people have them cracked or broken because they can't afford to pay for them, then it's going to cause a few safety problems. And of course our roads, for anyone who travels between Gulf Harbour Radio and Whangarei, will know that our roads are absolutely dreadful with a lot of loose metal, as we call it, and the chances of getting a cracked windscreen are rather high. Anyway, moving on to Europe, an absolute trade war has started following on from the 25% tariff on steel and aluminium that Mr. Trump, President Trump, put on. As of today, Friday their time, they are going to put tariffs on imports from America, all the good stuff, motorcycles, orange juice, peanut butter. Do they actually use peanut butter in Europe? I don't think so. Anyway, denim, motorboats and cigarettes. So they're going to be putting on quite a lot of tariffs. Canada has put on a tariff on 25% of American products. Mexico has put on tariffs on pork, apples, potatoes, and bourbon. So I think, isn't this a case of cutting your nose off to spite your face or something?
Who drinks Mexican bourbon?
Well, no, this is the imports from America to Mexico.
Oh, I see.
Yes, no, they drink what's that stuff that they make from
tequila.
Tequila, that's right. All right, so there you are, folks. The trade war is brewing. So hopefully you won't have to worry about too much of that where you are in the South Pacific. All right. Whistler have got it clear and calm. Sounds very nice up there at Nananui Clark. Let's look at some of these people that are on passage. Kindred Spirit, only 140 miles from the Isle of Pines, so they're doing rather well now. 10 to 20 knots, west to southwest to southwest, 1 metre swell, long period, and about 3/10 cloud cover. So that's looking at least decent for them. So they'll be able to have a relaxed move up inside the reef and have a very calm approach to Noumea probably on Monday. All right, Margarita is on their way to Penryn from Aotearoa. That's at 17 and 159 west, and they've got 13 knots from the east, 20% cloud cover. So that sounds rather nice. They'll be at Penryn on Sunday. Penryn was quite interesting, I thought. Anyway, we have Tregoning. They're at 23 and 179. We'll call that east. Southwest 11, so not too bad there as well. Fluenta, good morning to you, all you guys. 2231 south and 177.5 west, and they have got 14 knots from the southwest. That's quite cool, 25 degrees. That's interesting. A long report here from Mercelay for those of you who remember Robbie and Bev. All right. Another adventure is going to be working on the windlass today, but up there at Hog Harbour in Santo, 8 to 12 knots from the south. Sounds rather nice, 20% cloud cover, but it's a bit warmer than 24 degrees up there. Obsession, they're talking about spinner dolphins. Dolphins seem to be up in the whole Tonga area this year. We're southwest, less than 5, so that sounds pretty nice there, and it's calm and lovely in Savu Savu, like a lake in Scotland. There was an article in this morning's paper about the about looking for the Loch Ness monster, but I don't think there's any Loch Ness monsters up there in Savu Savu. Well, not ones in the water anyway. All right, there's somebody wanting Contessa's report. He is going well. Fixed the fourth stay. It's a bit rough out there at the moment. He's at 34 and 16350 west with 20 to 25 knots of northwest, but everything is fixed. Alrighty. Diego says there's radar also on 8297. Let me just have a pause here.
Nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, nothing much we can do about that at the moment. Sounds very nice. Good morning to Eagles Wings and Port Vila. I'm sort of missing some of these places that you're all reporting from. I'd like to be up there, particularly as we've had 2 days of rain. But anyway, all right. No audio on the. Oh well, must be. It's all working here, Diego. As far as I can see, it's working. Certainly, Eagles Wings seem to think it's working. So there must be something wrong with your end in Savu Savu. Okay, I'm going to pass the microphone now because we have quite a few boats waiting to leave, mostly tomorrow, and we'll see what David's got to say. Here's the boss.
I am not the boss. Good morning, everybody. Now, I'm going to do something different this morning. We're going to look way ahead. We're going to take a look at the 500 millibar frog for next Thursday. So a week from now, you folks will be nearly ending your passage by then. That's the 28th of June. And that is not a bad picture. Off to the east is a shortwave trough, and it's got an associated surface low near 160 west, and that is well out of the way, well out of your way. There is another shortwave over the South Island that's going to support a depression that's east of the South Island, and that's not really a problem for you either. Then the good news, we've got a great looking 500 ridge that's entering the Tasman at that point. Now, a little bit of a fly in the ointment as the jet stream decides to split at that point in time. It splits around the Sydney area, and what happens is another shortwave trough lies just on the west side of Queensland. So it's inland just a little bit. But what it's doing, what it will do, is it's going to cause a forward dip on the high that's building in the Tasman. Now that high is going to be at 1034, pretty strong. And it's just nudging into the Tasman Sea at that point, more or less east of Melbourne. And that's all generally pretty good news. Now by Friday, the 29th of June, the winds, surface winds now, near each of the island groups are mostly favorable. We're going to see east to southeast winds, depending upon what country that you're heading for. On the 29th of June, also, those who left on Friday, you should have arrived by then. I'm hoping you'll have arrived by then. This is not a bad passage from what I can see. Saturday departure looks fine. The only issue in the entire trip is New Caledonia, but quite possible you can sneak in there if you move along fairly smartly. So briefly, the passage winds are going to look like this. Today, for Colville, it's pretty windy. We've got southeast 30 knots, but by lunchtime it's going to ease to about 15 knots, and then shift to southwest 15 by the afternoon. Now the swell that everybody was worried about, we had 5 meters yesterday. That's easing, and it's anticipated to ease down to 3 meters. So that's very, very good news. Now Saturday we expect variable 10 knots here in this area, developing northwest 25 on Sunday, and then shifting on Monday to southwest 25. And all of this is due to begin with, a ridge moving over the North Island today, and then a weak frontal band moving over the North Island Sunday, early Monday. And that's going to be followed by west to southwest winds. And also on Saturday, as you're heading north, those of you that are leaving this afternoon, you're going to have southerlies up to about 33 south to push you along. The winds are not bad the further north that you go. Now by Tuesday, all of you yachts should be at 30 south, even those that are leaving on Saturday. You should be at 30 south. Notice that what I'm doing is I'm implying a target speed here. Now the winds at 30 south, we're looking at southwest about 20 knots as our new ridge pokes into the Tasman Sea. Now by Thursday morning, you should be at 25 south. Doesn't matter where you're going, whether it's New Cal, Fiji, Minerva, Tonga, whatever. Winds are lovely trades. You're going to have southeast 15 to 20. Now Friday, those of you that have decided to go to Minerva are going to enjoy easterlies about 15 to 20. And there'll be some convective activity in this passage, by the way. It's not all roses. So that you will have to contend with. Most everybody will. Now late on Friday, up there in Tongatapu, southeast 15 to 20. And if you're at 20 south by then, and you're on your way to Fiji, east-southeast 20. And if you're going to Anisham, easterlies 20. So at that point in time, you would have pretty much gotten virtually everywhere except maybe Fiji. Now, you will also have arrived in New Caledonia at that point, probably late Thursday, maybe early Friday. Now, the winds will have backed to the northeast in the 15 knot range. That's a bit unfortunate, but as that high starts to shift east at that point, that is what we're going to have. Now, cloud spreads northeast toward New Cal from a low that has formed on that polar dip we talked about just east of Brisbane at that point. So a small little low is going to form a week from now, and that cloud will be heading for New Caledonia, and you'll be experiencing some of that. So New Cal actually is the trickiest destination in this particular weather window. Vanuatu, Fiji, and Tonga, they all look fine. Now, there are a few yachts that for various reasons can't get away until Monday, maybe Tuesday. Some are on the hard, other reasons. Now, this is probably a decent window for departure, like I said, late today or Saturday. But those waiting Monday, Tuesday, you will have to hustle. Your goal should be, if you're going to Fiji or Tonga, your goal should be arriving before Tuesday, the 3rd of July. That's your goal, Tuesday, 3 July. And the reason that's your goal is there is the possibility of a depression, certainly a trough, quite definitely some convective activity that's going to be building, forming, and working its way toward Fiji and Tonga after that. So that's when I would like to see you there. So hopefully you'll put the pedal to the metal when you get back in the water, or fix what you have to. If you're any later than Tuesday, you might want to rethink everything. Okay, I'm going to diverge just for a second. The one thing I want to bring up now is, as you know, I've given an okay, my version of an okay, on some of your passages. But each time that I do that, you'll note that I talk about a minimum speed. In fact, I insist on a minimum speed, a target speed, if you will. And usually I refer to about 5 knots, preferably 6 knots, or about 144 miles a day. Now, most boats can do that, whether by sail alone or a combination of sail and motor or just motor. Now, some of you have not heeded this, and we've been getting reports in the last day or so of yachts that are way south, far too far south for when they departed. They're just dilly-dallying. They're just sort of meandering along. They got 50-knot winds, folks, 50 knots. And that's from that frontal band that moved up from New Zealand, the one that's been dumping all of this crummy weather here in this country. So that's all because they didn't get far enough north as we requested. This is no joke, folks. The Southwest Pacific is no joke. You can't lumber along when your speed drops. If you do, it's at your own peril. And if you don't care, well, that's fine by us, but maybe your crew does. And if your crew is your partner, you're risking a lot more than a bad passage. Some excuses, maybe due to breakages, that's understandable. But otherwise, you really need to maintain that target speed. I'm actually discouraged about hearing these reports because we tried so hard here to try to inform you, not be condescending or anything like that, but just to get you going safely. So anyway, please listen to us. We've lived on Chameleon continuously cruising for 15 years. We've seen it all. And we've been doing this Gulf Harbor Radio for what, 3.5, 4 years now?
7 years.
7 years, long time. So we actually know what we're talking about on this. Okay, moving to the islands, off the soapbox. Moving to the islands. Yesterday, a trough did move quite rapidly through Fiji and Tonga. It was interesting to see it on satellite imagery. It moved quite fast, and it moved up through the northeast. Now, another trough is to the south, and that's heading northeast, and that's this morning. The edge is affecting southern Fiji and Tongatapu. It's just hovering down there to the south. Advanced cloud is reaching the Hapais, but Vavau is looking in pretty good shape. For most of Tonga today, I would expect cloudy periods with occasional spotty showers. Tongatapu reports southerlies 5 knots, scattered cloud 1,800 feet. It's 23 C and the dew point's 23. And they had actually foggy conditions at the airport. Barometer 1012. Calm at the Hapais at the airport there, scattered, about 1,000 feet up to 1,700 feet. 24 C, dew point 23, and the barometer 1011. Calm also for Vavau, scattered 1,800, 100% relative humidity. 23C, dew point 23, and the barometer 1012. Pretty humid, folks. Now, by lunch, my wind forecast is west to northwest for the Hapaias and Vavale. Pretty light air, 5 to 10 knots, I think. Tongatapu, light from the southwest. And by Saturday, I expect southerlies, give or take on that, about 10 to 15. Over to Fiji, where our trough affects the southern area and will involve probably all of Fiji during the day. So expect some cloudy conditions, occasional showers, winds by lunch for the group in general, southeast about 10 to 15, and later today I think it'll pick up to about 15 to 20. On Saturday, southeast about 15 to 20, and of course less in the wind shadow areas. So in other words, the western side of the Big Islands. Late Saturday, expect stronger winds in the passes, Batui Ra, Kundadwu Pass, 20 to 25 knots through there. So the winds are cooking through those spots late Saturday. Vanuatu on satellite imagery looks fine, save for some scattered cloud. The southern trough edge is just tickling the Torres and the banks, but I think that band is moving northeast. Probably enough cloud is going to develop during the day for Vanuatu to call for partly cloudy conditions. There'll be some isolated afternoon showers, again, as the tropics. Pretty hot to the north, Luganville, 30°C sometimes today. Port Vila, about 26, and Tanna, about the same, 26. Now, the open water seas around 2 meters, and a little bit of a breeze, by lunchtime. Today, southeast, getting up to about 20 knots, and tomorrow, southeast, 15 to 20. New Cal, scattered cloud. Scattered cloud is, well, we've got the broken remnants of a trough that is moving through New Caledonia. Most of it was there yesterday, but it may not look like it's a trough. A lot of times when you are there and you're looking up, you wonder again what I'm talking about. But if you see it on a satellite image, you can see the continuity of the clouds. You can tell that at one time it was a trough. But anyhow, it's all breaking up. By lunch, winds southerly in the 15-knot range in our area. The winds are going to back a bit on Saturday, 10 to 15 knots from the southeast. And actually, they're going to be a little bit lighter on Sunday. So that's looking good for New Caledonia for the weekend. So great to explore and do your battle with all of the locals that are heading out as well. And that's it for me. Any questions, comments? If I've not covered your area specifically, well, come now. Here's the chief.
Nothing heard at this stage. I was just reading, it was interesting from Alcyon that they're about to, well, they're nearing Fulanga again, so they'll be coming in the appropriate time. But Han and, well, they mention that when they cross the date line, their GPS disappears on their iPad and they have to reset it. I don't, well, actually, I can remember having a bit of a problem with the GPS crossing the date line, but of course in our day we didn't have the iPad with us. But anyway, when they cross from east to west, in other words going in an easterly direction, the GPS icon disappears and they have to reset it. I'm not sure how you do that. Turn it on and off again, I suppose. Thanks for that, Zaytan and Elena. All right, is there anybody wanting any particular thing? Please let us know. Otherwise, I know this is going to be a lovely day for getting organised. We will actually have shadows today. It's amazing. Clear sky again. I was getting so sick of the grey. Anybody with anything? Oh, I forgot about you guys on your way to Port Vila. Good morning, David and Lynn. Go ahead, David.
Good morning. We're at 18 .692, 174 degrees, 25.482. board.
Once it's
All well. Moving birds on board.
Hope they don't make a mess, Lynn.
where's it going?
They're going to Port Vila. David's looking over my shoulder here. The only thing I
No,
missed was
something's wrong.
something's wrong. All right. Didn't quite get your. Just give me degrees and minutes. And this applies to everybody, folks. We don't want the decimals. It just confuses things. And let me tell you that when David's looking at his weather, and this is predominantly a weather map, a point covers about 50 kilometers or 50 miles. So by the time you're finished talking, those decimal points of minutes will be long changed. So just give me the degrees and minutes. I think I'll need you to start that again, Lynn. I've got 1869, and something is wrong here. Certainly nothing ties in.
What's the longitude?
Yes, I think the longitude is wrong. Could you give me the longitude again? Over.
Okay, we have south 18 degrees, 8 minutes. East 174 degrees, 25 minutes.
Okay, I got the 174 wrong. Thank you for that. So
Okay.
on their way to Port Vila, they have southeast 15 to 16, 1.5 meter seas, 1012. Boy, it sounds like pretty nice sailing, Lynn. Over.
Forgot to tell you, under the textile summer and I think it's comfortable.
Oh, well, that sort of dampens things down a bit, doesn't
Well,
it?
they
Yeah.
got this.
Occasional drizzle. Oh, I see. It's just, yeah, it's not too bad. It's just a sort of a, well, it is a front, but it's not very much of one. So
Southeast 15 tomorrow.
you will have southeast, did you say, or southeast?
Southeast.
Southeast at 15 tomorrow. So things are pretty much set and forget. Over.
We're moving along nicely, all really well here. Thanks to Google.
All right, so yeah, it does sound good. And we have got the radar on this one as well. Things are a pain in the neck today. So, yep, Diego said it was starting up there, and we now have it here. All right, anybody will clear with Sahula? Is there anybody else? Oh, good morning, Sarani, and how's life in New Caledonia? Over.
Yeah, beautiful day out there in the north, ladies. Walking top of New Caledonia. Over.
18 degrees, wow. Well, I'll tell you what, that's double what we've got, Alison, so you shouldn't complain too much. I got a bit confused with the wind. Could you give me the wind speed and direction again?
Yeah, we're going about southwest 5 knots. So the anchoring is southwest. Over.
Okay, so it's pretty calm in the anchorage there. So, all right, and you're up fairly early again today. Thank you for that. Oh, it's pretty chilly. Mind you, it can get pretty chilly in
Yeah.
New Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of, well, it's coming up from the south, isn't it? What air you've got there. So just be thankful you're not closer to the Antarctic like we are. All right. Thank you for that. Good morning to you guys. And I think that's probably about it for everyone, seeing as we're battling against the confounded radar noise. And we will be back again next week, but we will not be on during July. Just this is a early warning. We will tell you all about that next week, but we will be here tomorrow through next week, and then that will be it. We're going to have a rest in July because I'm not going to be here. And David decided he can't be a weatherman and a radio technician at the same time. So we will be here next week and then having a break in July. Last year we found going right through the 7 months was a bit wearying, so we're going to have a break mid session. And we had thought that everyone would have been on their way by now and arrived, but of course we've got these laggards. But hopefully they'll be almost there by this time next week. All right, cheers everybody. The frequency, if you could go back to clear this one because it is the ultimate frequency for maritime radio. We don't want to overstay our welcome here. If you want to call someone, then do a call and then move to 82907. or 8779 or wherever else you want to go. Cheers, everybody. Yes, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, one little thing. Could you please let Whitehawk know that Little Dale
Okay, I will let Whitehawk know. Hopefully they're still on streaming. Little somebody, I don't know who that was. Go ahead again. Good heavens. Well, that is a bit of a shock. Our condolences, Alan. Boy, that is a shock. Over. All right, I will pass that on to Whitehawk. And our condolences, Alan. We've lost you now with this radar. I shall pass that on to them as well. All right. This is Gulf Harbour Radio. We're clear. There is a bump.
What did you see?